1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. What? Why do I have 1, 2, 1, 2? Advanced audio properties. Major levels mute output. So the stream should be fine. It's just very, very full. 1, 2. Turn that up a bit for now. And okay, that's live. Let's see. Self-motion. This is probably going to get me copyright struck. Just leaving the audio going this long. That channel. 1, 2. Heck, let's go.
So here we are again, playing Final Fantasy XII again.
Yep.
For the 37th time.
I just skipped the options without checking that I had the camera the right way around. So that's going to be hilarious fun in a second.
Yep.
Oh well. I don't think it's quite as many as 37 times, but
It wouldn't surprise me.
I think I've played the original about maybe a dozen times, and
I know you played... I know you played 12 and Zodiac Age at the same time for our DGC episode.
Yep.
Which I think compounds the issue.
Yep. This is the third time I played Zodiac Age.
Hello.
Hello!
Hi.
I did think about trying to set up, because my capture card has SD input as well. I did think about trying to set up so that I could stream both at once, but I don't think my capture card can do both at the same time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
At least this time I have
Something to investigate.
Sorry, what?
Something to investigate.
Yeah. I also don't have a splitter for my component cable, so I would have to play 12 Classic in the OBS window.
Woof.
Which would be a little bit limiting.
That really good gambits.
I mean, with the exception of, like, doing a couple of tricky grinds early on, I probably could just... you know, I'm good enough at setting this game up now that I probably could do most of the stuff I'd want to do in parallel with just a thumbnail scale video, but...
Yeah. The only thing I really remember early on is the one Phoenix Down grinding,
Yeah, that's the main one.
Nabudis has fallen.
which is still extremely funny.
Yep.
Father,
We should be doing some of that today.
I am sorry. If Nabudis has indeed fallen,
Congratulations on Final Fantasy XIV for letting you finally cosplay Bosch.
there is nothing to halt their advance.
I mean, Pinello is the one I'd want to cosplay.
Secure Nalbina with all haste.
Lars is the real champ.
It's so amusing to me they put the Larsa outfit on a Lala.
Yeah, he's the shortest fucking human character,
Yep.
I think.
I mean, in fairness, he's like 12. I forget his canonical age. He's pretty fucking young. It's the
Yeah.
Star Wars scene!
I love Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Oh, God. I was convinced these fucking airships were actually in Star Wars for years.
God.
They look so similar.
Galatea, stand watch over your life.
I might have to dip in a few, because I just got the notification that my driver is arriving soon with my fucking 50 pounds of computer.
Exciting.
It has a wooden armor.
That marketing copy on the crate is incredible. One of the
Yeah.
best things I've seen in PC marketing ever.
Behold, a box.
Hmm.
It's just a box, but also it's
Extremely good cuts coming in. That transition's so good. Sorry, I love everything about this game, and I will not shut up about it. Even though I am
Yeah.
also excited about Valve's new computer.
I'll probably be writing about this game as well. So doing my
Yep.
blog.
Yeah. Yep.
And I will.
Meanwhile, I booted up Yakuza 0 for the first time in 10 months? It's been a while. I got to chapter 11 out of like 14, I think.
Wow.
Let's see. 17 chapters.
The last time I booted the game up would have been March 2017.
Yeah.
Is that solid period where I played all of Yakuza, then went straight into Nier Automata, and then went straight into Breath of the Wild, and then straight into Persona 5.
You did like Yakuza was like a breakthrough in the Sam finishes games saga.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
turning
that's it,
point.
though. I'm good at finishing games now.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I've lost the ability. I haven't touched Near Replicant in 3 weeks.
I finished like 40 games last year.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, I've been wrapped up in fucking Final Fantasy 14 again.
I did not finish Final Fantasy 11. I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of it, to be fair.
Yeah.
There is a lot.
Did
that
you
was
get
fun.
out of like the base game? Did you get into any expansions?
There's some like expansion stuff that happens concurrently with the base game, but not a lot. It's like really minimal.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you have to answer that with something that's not a yes or no, the answer is no.
I saw a few opening cutscenes to expanded content because I was in the areas for them. But
That's fun.
I got literally to the final boss of the base game.
That's pretty good
Oof.
going for an MMO. For
Yeah.
the kind of time you spent on it, honestly.
50 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, they've put in a lot of stuff to like accelerate the XP growth. Because there's like one of the expansions quests is literally like once you do them, you get like a permanent like 20% boost to EXP.
Ah.
Oh,
That would help. Yes.
Yeah, and you get a few of those.
Nice.
And there's just a bunch of other systems and items you can, and other sort of like quest systems they've added on to like load on EXP.
yeah, I remember seeing like, yeah, there's a bunch of systems that you can do basically stuff to get between Trust carrying you through everything.
Except
Death of Lord
the final
Rasta
boss,
Helios
which is where
Nadrania,
trusts
was but one of
really
many tragedies to
fall
befall
down.
the kingdom of Dalmasca.
Yeah.
Because they love
The
like
air of
using
hope that
all
had
their
surrounded
best
Her Royal
spells
Highness
and
Princess
magic
Ashe's
right
wedding
away.
was now quite lost.
Nice.
And the thing
Dalmasca
about
had been set adrift
that final boss
at the
is it
mercy of
has two
history's
types of
restless
phases where it
tides.
switches between
At this time, two great empires struggled for dominion over Ivalice.
Vulnerabilities.
Arcadia,
Look,
And
it's
immune
America and Russia.
Rosaria, the West.
and by the time it gets to the immune to physical, everyone's used up their magic, so it can't do anything.
Step in its westward
Yeah.
march. With Lord Rasla's
So yeah,
beloved
you want to get into Final
homeland
Fantasy
consumed by
XI,
the Hellfire's
rope frenzies.
war, it seemed clear that Arcadia would soon mete out a like fate to Dalmasca. The fall of the fortress at Nalbina told the destruction of the greater part of Dalmasca's forces.
Clumsy Cold War analogies.
The
Hooray!
counterattack was mounted by the order of
My
the
internet's
Knights of
going great that
Dalmasca,
I can't
ever
actually see
brave
what's going
and
on the
faithful.
stream, so
It's
But
the,
against the martial might of the Arcadian
it's the
armies,
narration
they stood little
that
chance of victory.
um,
Indeed,
Marcus Ondor
their
gives,
defeat was to be absolute.
yeah.
where he talks about like
Soon thereafter,
there's a
Arcadia
country
came
in the
forward,
west,
offering terms of
sorry,
peace.
east
Or
called
as one
Arcades,
might
and a
rather
country
put
in the
it,
west called Rosaria.
Terms of Dalmasca's surrender.
It's like blatantly America and Russia.
Lord Romanos,
I
King
wonder,
of
because
Dalmasca,
like,
and my dear
so
friend,
it's the topic of the
had no
moment.
choice but
but,
to accept
like,
these terms.
Because I played like, I finally like actually played through like Final Fantasy Tactics last year.
Fortress.
Hmm.
And, like, not long after I watched Berserk, the anime, for the first time,
Treaty of peace.
and like,
The king
Final
had
Fantasy
scarce
Tactics literally
departed
just
his
takes
royal
entire
city of
characters from that.
Rabanasca,
I can
when
well
the
imagine.
remains
I mean,
of the
Berserk
order
was
made their return,
staggeringly influential.
and not a moment too soon.
Yeah, but
Um,
like,
A terrible revelation awaited
the
them.
whole thing between Ramza and Delita is just
The treaty
extremely
would be
similar to
signed
Guts
with
and Griffith.
steel and writ in royal blood.
I mean, like it's a fairly tropey kind of story between those two, so it's got deep roots. But
Yeah,
like, it
but
wouldn't surprise
also-
me if the direct point of inheritance was Berserk.
You there.
though I mean it's very clear by literal like almost exact copied scenes,
It's as I feared. They're
like
slowing us
the
down.
thing where he teaches to whistle with the is it Blade of Graths?
Yeah.
That's straight from Berserk.
Your name?
That exact same scene happens in both.
Rex.
Good. Rex.
Yeah, the way it's capitalized is a deliberate archaism. It's one of those
Understand?
touches where the localization went just really hard for this game.
Yep.
Think you can fight?
I'm fine,
I do like this game's localization a
How
lot.
It's
old are you,
real good.
Rex?
Like the first time I played the game, I
17,
I didn't have enough points of comparison to appreciate
Young.
just how much effort they
Family.
put in.
My brother
If you
is
want to
only
see a
half my
version of
sir.
this one not done as
He's
good,
2 years
it's
younger
War of the
than me,
Lions.
living in Rabanasca.
So young.
They just make everything read extra
You've been
flowery
old
than
enough to be
it
a
needs to
man.
be.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be forced to wield a sword.
No, sir. I want to fight.
Overall, War of the Lions is a better translation, but
And
yeah.
for my parents.
Yeah, it's more a
It
more
doesn't have blame yourself or God, which, all memeing aside, is a raw line.
I'm
Yes.
aware of the
Yeah,
situation.
but Final Fantasy XIV has that untouched, so
Of
nice.
course it does.
Bossler, go ahead.
That is
It's
the
the same-
advantage.
yeah.
of those,
Fucking
like-
what's his face? The Benga yells it.
Speed.
We all talking at once. Sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that in Final Fantasy XIV, the Benga, whose name I forget, yells it at the party.
Not Bergamnon.
Steady, Rex.
Yes, Begamnon.
Keep your
Oh,
wits
good
about
grief.
you and you'll make it.
Becky, you knew Begamnon was in the fucking
Like
raid series.
I didn't know
He
whether
turns into Yasmat.
I've forgotten that detail.
I've seen something where, like, for the English localization, they took some Ivalice references out. Like, mostly in, like, offhanded dialogue for 14.
Yeah, but they definitely super kept blame yourself or God in there. There's also a lot of evilly shit just baked into stuff that, yeah.
Hmm.
Like the entire Alliance Raid series and also the Bosnian front.
God, I
Which-
keep seeing that stuff and it seems really cool.
It's
From an outside thing.
yeah, it's a grind and a half.
I guess that's to be expected.
Hmm. What is Bosnia? Like, I've heard people talking about it like it must be a PvP zone?
No.
Like world PvP stuff or something?
No. Basically, it's a field zone where you're fighting against the Garlean Empire in the Bosnian front, which is basically part of, I forget what it is, but it's one of the occupied territories of the Empire.
Right.
And you're basically fighting Bosnian Southern Front. Let me look it up.
I'm just gonna be right back a moment.
Sure.
Yep. Yeah, basically it's an instanced area
Hmm.
that up to 72 players, so 9 full parties, can explore simultaneously, and they basically run around doing fates, which are world
Right.
Like-
Okay.
fights.
Hmm.
And then also within that, once you level up in the unique areas, like the area's unique leveling system, you can do special encounters,
Right.
including a Savage 24-man.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What else do I want? That's better. Is it? No, hang on. Yeah, that's right. Because people talk about Bosnia the way that they seem to talk about,
Captain?
like, it's very reminiscent of how people talk about some of the really hated or really divisive world PvP zones in WoW. But from what you're showing, it
Yeah,
sounds
no.
a lot more like the big, the kind of world bosses in Guild Wars.
I mean, what it boils down to is it's kind of like Eureka, which was Stormblood's relic grind area, which was notoriously grindy. But yeah, it's not a PvP zone; it's a PvE thing. But like, basically, if you do well in the fates, you can get roped into like duels, and those have accolades tied to them, and they're basically like a one-on-one boss fight with specific NPCs. Between that and like the fact that you can level down if you die, and some of the encounters are tough, so if you're like doing them for the first time, you probably won't know what to do, and especially around launch, the penalties for dying were pretty severe. So people were real fucking mad about that. But like that's
Right, yeah.
the grindiest part of the game right now.
That sounds like it's got the same kinds of problems as those other bits.
Yeah.
Adline, this is Sunbury. My engines are hit. She'll not hold much longer.
We receive you, Tom
I do kind of wish that I wasn't like permanently burnt out on MMOs.
My thanks,
Because
Adline.
FF14 does sound like it's good, it's just that I can't go back.
Yeah,
can't
I
go
mean,
back.
when you suffer years of abuse at the hands of WoW and its development team, I was talking with my fucking FC about WoW, and like, I'm kind of glad that WoW didn't have a fucking onboarding process, because if they had literally fucking anything to explain things to new players, I might have stuck around and I would have burned out fucking immediately.
I mean, like, I have...
Hello?
Hello.
Welcome back.
I have
Do I
really...
sound okay?
A little bit
Yeah.
crunchy, but perfectly audible.
That's fine. I'm on my phone.
Ah. But yeah, like I have very good memories of some of my time in WoW, but also my time in WoW was over 2,000 hours in the space of about 14 months, which is not a healthy relationship to a game.
Don't talk such nonsense.
Never.
Yeah, and I would also probably wager that a significant part of that was the people we were playing with.
Oh god, yeah, like I was so
We must
lucky
make haste to reach
with
the
the
king.
people I was
We
playing
will
with.
take him to safety.
Yeah, and like the thing is,
He'll
there's
agree
like
to
no,
unconditional surrender.
like I was talking about
They
this. If
wouldn't
you don't
dare
have like a
touch him
fucking
until
group
once
to
the seal is
do
dry.
end game stuff with in WoW, you're just like fucked. Good luck finding decent people in that toxic player base too. It's just like, oof.
That's how I
that-
stopped playing.
Yeah, that does go for like every MMO, to be fair.
14's better about that though, because the fucking there's like an actual onboarding process, even if it does take fucking forever to get through the story. Like it at least has a point other than like hit cap, I guess, and then try and find a group of people who you don't hate long enough to do raids. I don't know.
I mean, like, organizing a static is no easier in 14 than it was in WoW.
Yeah, but also you're dealing with, I don't know, a different kind of people. WoW players are a special kind of
I
asinine.
suspect you'd find that even WoW players are different now to how they were a decade ago. I'm just getting bogged down here. I should...
Abso-fucking-lutely, but also, oof.
I think all the worst ones have probably moved over to WoW Classic or something.
Yeah, I
Where-
think that
where they will
that's the
suffer
thing, though,
exactly what they deserve, which is what they
and
asked
what
for.
they desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
like,
I would try
Sorry?
it. It's another thing I'd try if I had the tolerance for more MMOs, just out of curiosity. But also, I know that it was awful.
Yeah.
I have the like temptation because like I played it like around Burning Crusade and they've just put that up.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't actually stick to it being classic.
Well, I thought the idea was to be like change over time.
Yeah, I believe.
When they
Yeah.
launched Classic, they were adamant that they were not going to do that. I don't know when the reversal happened, but like I mean, the launch of Classic was long enough ago now that Blizzard can't find its arse with both hands. So
I want
To
to
be
say that they're
fair,
doing both now.
Yeah, I'm like WoW is nothing if not fucking reneging on fucking decisions.
Yep.
As a pattern of behavior.
Yeah.
It's like I can't ever tell how much of WoW players going WoW isn't as good as it used to be is just fatigue, and how much of it is just fucking WoW players being WoW players.
I mean,
That's what my dad goes on about. He was a WoW player.
every WoW player thinks that like the era they started in and were playing hardest in is the best.
Yeah.
Which has the unfortunate effect for me that I think Pandaria was the best. Although the few people who I think escaped that trap have all said to me that they think the raiding in Pandaria was among the best that Blizzard had ever designed up to that point.
I never got far enough to do raiding, but I felt that I liked the game when it was like you actually had to read the quest descriptions to know where to go.
There's a lot of complaint about the yellow question mark thing. I mean, for me, it was just like a perfect dissociative activity.
Yeah.
At a time where I was profoundly dissociated.
Captain, why?
But,
Our king.
I guess there's probably an element of that with this game as well, honestly.
Yeah, I suppose that's what happens. You dive into a game at the right time.
I mean, I started playing WoW because a friend of mine who was a hardcore WoW player saw me playing FF12 and was like, "Why are you playing this again? Why don't you play WoW?" And like, fair enough. I see what he was getting at.
Well, so much for peaceful negotiations.
That was before I was in any position at all to explain why I think this game is so special.
Yeah.
The war is over, my dear captain.
By the way, do you not have subtitles on?
I apparently don't.
Property of the Empire now.
I will sort that.
And think, we intended to let you keep some of your sovereignty.
This is what happens when I
straight up-
accidentally mash past the beginning of game
Now
settings
you've
screen.
gone and ruined that.
I'm gonna have to
Haven't
go
you,
onto
Captain?
my Chromebook and get Twitch up because
We
it's
will
just
never
not
bow to
working
you.
on my PC.
And the people of Dalmasca will hate you for it.
Twitch.tv
Take the
slash
captain away.
Eat the
Eat
pen.
the pen.
Eat it.
Off you go.
I apologise for any mic wobble noise.
It's okay.
Vaughn.
How long was that? 25 minutes to get through the opening of the game. Wow, it was...
Pretenses of peace left by the wayside.
Is this going to be a speed run or is it?
It's not going to be a speed run. I am planning
Dalmasca's
to
doom
go pretty
had
quickly.
been
Although,
decided.
go pretty quickly and
To
do
make
all the optional
resistance
stuff.
would serve no end. With this foremost in my thoughts,
I like the game too much. I will play all of it.
to the people of
Again.
Dalmasca.
I'm like,
Sons and daughters of Dalmasca, I bid you
because I'm going to be
lay down
playing
your
this soon,
arms,
but I've got like,
raise songs of prayer
I'm
in
undecided
the
which
stead.
one of the which
Prayer
version of the
His Majesty
Zodiac Age
King
to play.
Radanas, ever merciful,
I think they're all the
a man
same now.
devoted wholly to
They
peace.
are
Yeah.
all the same.
Pray too
um,
for the noble Princess
But
Ash,
like, so
wrought with
because they
grief
changed, because
at
it
her
wasn't the
kingdom's
case.
defeat.
Yeah, the
But-
Switch version had some stuff, but they've backpatched it.
Yes.
Know also that Captain Marsh
Which is
found
my
one
intent was
silver
going to be I was going to play the
for
Switch
incitement
version,
of sedition
but now
and
they've
the
got
assassination of His Royal Majesty
that in the
King
PS4
Radanas
version, but
has
also
been found guilty
it's
of
on
high treason
Game Pass for PC
and
as well,
put to
which I
his
do have.
death.
Ah.
They
Yep,
who have
which is the
displayed
same as the
our true
PS4
steel
version,
with
so-
sword are cut
Yeah,
of the same
well,
cloth
the
as the captain.
the Game Pass
Traitors
version is
who
based
would
off of the
lead
Xbox
Dalmasca to her
version.
ruin.
They're all the same.
Yes, they are now.
Dalmasca's surrender without terms.
So it's
was
all about
soon
which
to follow.
platform you're most comfortable playing on.
I'm thinking Switch because it still runs well on there, so that's not a problem, and I'll be able to sneak bits of it whenever because of the handheld.
On the commute and so on.
Yeah.
Wait.
On the commute. I'll go with that.
Vaughn! Hurry it up or they'll find us.
I know. Just a little more. You keep an eye out for me up there, Kites. 1, 2, 3 more. All right.
Rat
Time
time.
to clean house.
Let's get those subtitles on. That's the wrong options menu. Where are
Can you even open the options menu when you're in combat?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been ages.
I can, but there's no subtitles option.
Becky, yes there is.
Oh fuck.
Uh,
I'm having screen reading troubles.
the fact that I'm like got like the stream delay, like from seeing it and hearing you, it just seems like it's taking a lot longer to find the subtitles.
I'm
No.
not good at reading text on screen.
Oh.
Which is ironic because you were doing that to turn the subtitles on.
Yep.
I like how you said there's no subtitles, and I literally hard countered
Guess I know who
because it
comes
was
when the
literally
day
on
comes
screen,
along.
stream delay and all.
It's good practice for the desert. I'm ready
Beautiful.
for anything now.
I really The one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna install the mod that removes all the letterboxing
Oops.
on the
Totally
PC
forgot.
version. Because like,
You should come, Vaughn.
there's just a black bar at the bottom of
Might
the
have some work
screen
for you to do,
most
too.
of the game.
I've got
Otherwise,
work to do. Hey, lock this place up for me, will you?
Isn't that how it was on the PS2 as well?
yeah, but it was 4.3 there, so all the things
Well,
like
The game, it was 16 by 9 on the PS2 as well.
it could be, but it certainly was not the primary like view of it. Like they cropped all and did a lot of stuff on PS2 because of the 4.3.
But like that game has a 16 by 9 option.
Huh? What'd you say? Sir, you haven't paid. And what? Haven't paid?
That's the thing with like playing like a PS2 game in 16 by 9 is it always feels like I'm playing something with on a big screen, even though I'm playing the same screen as every other game.
Your luck, peddler.
Oops, sorry.
Watch where you're going, churl.
I like how they made the first Arcadian soldier just like the ugliest man possible.
Get out the way. Oh.
Also, the size of the man's coin pouch that Van lifts. Which will be visible in just a second. Look at that! For like an amount of money that a man would be carrying as like pocket change.
Hey, that's mine.
What do you mean?
How big are the
dwarves?
coins?
You've been stealing.
Penella
again.
will take a handful of them out in
What happens
just a
if they
second.
catch you? We need you to be there for us, Vaughn. You're no good to
Oh,
anyone.
I
if
could
you're
see an
locked away in a
Arcadian
dungeon.
soldier
What? Am I the
fucking
leader now?
trying to fucking show off by carrying too much around.
It's
We're
nearly the
orphans.
size
First
of their
thing you learn is
heads.
you gotta watch
though.
out for yourself.
It's
Yeah.
it reminds me of like
Hey, you give that back. What do you think you're doing?
like my dad's
I thought that this money was the people of Dalmasca's property.
telling me
The Imperial
about
stole it from us, so it's
nights
only
out
fair
before
that we
everyone was
take it
paying
back.
with their stuff with
It's our
cards,
duty as Dalmascans.
where like you're like,
Well,
oh, I'll
wasn't
pay with
that
this
what
with
you
like a
said?
£10 note, and I can't be able to get all the change out. So by the end of the night, like you'd end up with just like pockets full
This
of like
is for that
loads
bread
of
you took the other day.
coins.
Just because I help Miguelo out every now and then, it doesn't mean that
Maybe
you
the
get
soldier
to
had a night out.
too, you know.
That's true.
Maybe it's all just
You think I like living like
a
this?
bunch of small denominations.
I mean, mostly it's just that
Maybe.
it needed to be big enough that on the PS2 the characters could interact with the model, but
One of these
And
days,
make it
is
legible,
kind of
yeah.
comedic on this version.
Just say hyperinflation.
This is my wheelbarrow full of gold coins. I would
Well,
like
be
some bread,
careful.
please.
You'll never fly anything if you're rotting in a dungeon. Oh, Miguelo has
No,
some
my
errands that need
UPS
doing.
driver is
You want to
driving
drop
further
by his
away.
place?
What are you
It
doing?
might be a good idea to
Aw.
lend a hand.
Things that will drive you.
Live delivery maps are just
Yeah.
bad.
The only one that is like not catastrophic for me is my favorite takeout, because obviously they do one delivery at a time.
Oh,
Even my
So-
yeah,
Domino's
take out with
tracker is
tracked
good.
delivery.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Not all the takeouts in Liverpool do at the moment, but one or two do, including the one that I sometimes get like a meal for two from and eat it all to myself, including 2 milkshakes
Oh, wow, nice.
when I want to sin.
God, I haven't. I said,
Yellow said you needed
I'm
something.
trying to think. Oh, wow, it's been a long time since I had a milkshake, but then I realized I had one yesterday. But it wasn't a proper milkshake. It was just Nesquik.
That I always sin.
So you
but
want me to find this
that's a
courier?
different
Hey,
problem.
no problem.
Takeout's starting to offer milkshakes was a major advance for North of England culture, as far as I'm concerned.
So
I'll have to see if any do, if I can find any in the south. It's normally really boring for takeout down here.
Really?
Yeah, at least compared to when I used to live up north.
Oh, okay.
What I want you to do is run over to the Sand Sea and fetch kites
Like,
back. What do you say?
I don't know, they don't do many sauces that are chippy.
It's easy work, and you'll thank me for it someday.
Like, I can remember when it was weird to order curry sauce at a chippy. Like, they just didn't do them.
Yeah. Whereas now every chippy has curry sauce, even if it's not very good curry sauce.
Yeah.
My local chippy, like the curry sauce is just the blandest thing, which is a crying shame because I love curry chips, but like.
Yeah.
The Americans part of this conversation will be deeply puzzled, but like.
It's like I used to, when I was in the northeast, you'd often get garlic sauce.
And
you just wouldn't get that here.
Yeah. Usually
There
you
you
get
are,
garlic
guys.
mayo.
Stop loafing around.
Look, Vaughn, look. This is
Yeah.
it. This is why Magellan's
I think it's
didn't
pretty
get here
much
on
near enough
time.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Creature spotted in the Esper sand. What is that thing?
But I always used to get like a pizza with garlic sauce on.
Miguelo sent you too, did he?
That was really nice.
He's a busy man these days, that Miguelo, if I dare say so
You can't
myself.
get Domino's in
I
this
don't
city
envy him
to
the work, though.
stop
Not a
sending you
bit.
garlic sauces.
Quite the affair throwing a
Like,
banquet
see,
to
every,
yeah,
every pizza comes with a pot of fucking garlic sauce.
That's just Domino's though.
Yeah.
What's this?
But I mean like you order it at, like if I got Domino's in Middlesbrough, you go to a place, you order a pizza, and you ask for garlic sauce, and they put it on the pizza.
Offer a reward to anyone who can knock that
Fair
nasty
enough.
back in its place.
Now that's
Which
work.
is whenever I like
Times better than running errands for Magellan.
I'm like with my northern friends and they get Domino's, they just pour it onto the
You should be
pizza.
getting back to Magello.
God.
Now, Kites. He was waiting
Mind you,
for
I had a friend who used to
Oh,
dip his
right,
pizza slices in the garlic butter. Which.
What else are you supposed to do with it?
I mean, I mostly used it for the sides.
No, I use it for the I dip the crusts in it.
That works.
And occasionally the slices themselves.
The slices have plenty of flavour on their own.
Yes, they do. Which is
they
why it's
could
more
have
often
more.
the crusts.
Maybe I'm just easily overwhelmed by flavours. It would be entirely consistent with my middle-class Britishness.
Yeah.
Every so often I am reminded of just how bland the food I grew up on was. My parents were not enthusiastic cooks. C-O-O-K, not C-W-C-U-C-K, just to be clear.
Is that northern accent not in your favour?
I don't even have a northern accent, so just a British accent.
You have a mild northern accent.
I'm glad someone thinks that does. No, nobody up here does.
That's because you're up north.
Yeah.
It's when I was going between like Middlesbrough and Swindon, like in Middlesbrough I sound too southern, and then because I was picking up words in Middlesbrough I sounded too northern back down south.
Mm-hmm. I have a friend who grew up in Brighton, and for her the big difference was how fast she talked.
Yeah.
Because in Brighton they speak very, very slowly and correctly, you know, quite proper English. And then up in Liverpool, it's all like rat-a-tat machine gun speak. She got all sorts of grief when she went home after her first semester at uni. I think I said Red Battle Mage for Varn first, right?
You wrote it.
I don't have it open in front of me.
I will go find the document. Red Mage Shikari, tend to give it to Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. Right, I don't need Arcane Magic 1, though. That would not be sensible. Time Magic, Green Magic, White Magic 3.
I think it's extremely funny that when we... How did it shake out fucking... When we did it for DGC, I know Leroy had, like... I don't remember what version Leroy played. I know I played the 12 Zodiac on PS2.
Yeah.
You played both Vanilla and Zodiac Age. I had the worst time because I got none of the quality of life features and all the weird translation shit that came with the fan TL.
Yeah.
Oh god. I was playing Zodiac Age at the time.
Yep. It came out like really conveniently for when we wanted to cover the game.
Yeah.
And it came out right when I didn't have the means to play it, so that was fun.
Yeah. And I think that's around the time I met you, Becky, actually, in person.
Yeah, probably, was it? Yes, it was, yeah, because I was in London in July 2017 for that concert.
Yes.
Conference.
Yes. Where I crashed in on the meal.
Oh. Speed up! I'll leave it on 2 times speed for now.
I've been, over the course of playing multiple Final Fantasy ports, I've been liberally taking advantage of speed up functions.
Oh, gee, that's
very
too
sensible.
bad. You see, it just so happens that your provisioner for the fate tonight, he sent me to pick up a few choice
helped a lot in
morsels
8.
for the console's dining pleasure.
Can you imagine that?
He wants them quick. I got the writ of
And
transit
10,
right
I'd
here.
imagine.
You see?
I didn't use it in 10.
Magello.
Oh, okay.
I just hate to see the console upset because his food wasn't ready.
I
on time.
feel like that game is
And I
paced
sure
well
hate to
enough.
see him take it out on you.
The Lord Consul
That's
is
true.
a great man. I not wonder. Take offense, it's such
I did also
silly,
end up spending
coddling
82
matters.
hours on that game.
It's easy to do.
Yeah,
I think
I got into Blitzball.
yeah. I think my
Move along, boy.
main
Wouldn't do to keep the console
PS2 save file for that game was at like 200 hours, and I still was only halfway through the Dark Aeons.
I didn't even touch the Dark Aeons because, like, I didn't fancy that's yeah. That I'd probably need the speed up for that because that's a grind to get there.
Yeah.
I just I did a bunch of Blitzball, and I went for a handful of the Celestial weapons. Just for Yuna, Tidus, and Auron.
Good choices.
Yeah, because those are the easier ones to do.
Yep.
I have a save file for 10. I forget how... I can turn it on and find out. I have a decent amount of the endgame content kind of prepped and done. I just was... It was on PS3, and then I put my PS3 away, and I didn't remember to transfer the file until much later, after which I had things to do.
The it's interesting how I remember getting to the end game area at 10, and like many of the other games, they just like throw so much the experience points at you in that last area. A few of the other games do that as well. Like 5 just gives you like loads more job points in the final area.
Yep.
Which would have been good to know before I did a massive grind for job points before.
Yep.
I was too busy grinding on the statues in the basement.
Yep.
Of course, the 4-job Fiesta soonish, isn't it? In the next couple of months.
Yep.
I kept saying to myself I'll do it this year, but I'm feeling like probably not.
It's a fun time.
Yeah, it's more just finding time.
Yeah.
Okay,
'Cause
these
I want-
are from 2019. Let's see how many hours I put into this game. And what I actually have completed. Because... Okay. That's 61 hours and 21 minutes. All of my... most of my party members have max HP. That's cool. Key items. That's what I want to do. Sun... Crest, sigil, no. I have at least 3 celestial weapons maxed out. Titus, Riku, and Yuna?
Riku is one of the easier ones to get.
Also Lulu.
Riku's
Lulu.
is the Cactuar game.
I think one of the things for Riku is it's the passwords thing. Like God Hand and that.
Yeah. So I have Sun, Moon, Mars, and Mercury, all of the sigils and crests and stuff. So I have Auron, Titus, Riku, Yuna.
The confusing thing about that is like on the PS2 version, the sigils are like translated wrong.
Are they?
And they're corrected. A couple of them are wrong, and they're corrected for the HD remaster.
Right.
Which is very confusing when I was referring to a guide written for the PS2 version.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, but that was the only problem. It's like that kid who once says he wants to be a blitzball.
I mean, in fairness, like in other FF games, there's definitely been characters who'd say shit like that without.
But
being
it's an error in Japanese that's corrected in the Japanese version, but is left as it is for the English one.
fun.
For the HD one.
Right. I also have every character has a triple AP and overdrive to AP weapon because that's how I was grinding AP for sphere grids. I was just letting them get fucking shanked by Don Tonberry.
Ah, yes. The classic.
I just find that like Tonberries like show up really early on in 10-2.
Yep.
10-2's balance is weird from what I've heard.
All kinds of wonky.
Never thought I'd see him growing out here.
It's an odd game, and like, it's like, for a while I didn't find it as like fun or interesting to play, but then like, it's one of those things where like after finishing it, just everything just sort of clicked. What that game is and what it's doing. Don't know if I'd play it again anytime soon.
I kind of want to play it again.
Yeah,
I would like to play it once at all.
I would say if you play it first time, do not get caught up in trying to 100% it first time.
Oh Jesus, no! I wouldn't recommend trying to 100% it at all, just because of how much the nonsense mini games you have to do.
Well, it's not even just the nonsense minigames, it's how minute of small things you have to make sure you do. How many things where it's like literally pressing the button at the right time at specific moments. Like,
yeah, it's the sort of thing that they toned down for something like Lightning Returns, which has similar amounts of way too many things you need to do to 100% it. Speaking as someone who has 100%ed it. Ish.
Yeah.
Did you actually do the super bosses in that?
I don't know, honestly. It's been an eon, and I probably I did the last one's rush, but I didn't do any of the super boss stuff. I think I just beat the shit out of Bunavelza.
Yeah.
I couldn't beat Bunavelza when I was playing that game.
The final boss is a big ramp up.
I'll
I
probably
did
be
not
using.
have a hard time of it, but yeah.
I'll probably be using some sort of guide to at least get some good equipment and stats and such.
Oh god, use a guide for lightning returns. Just use a guide for the whole thing.
I don't know. Sorry.
Trying to figure it out yourself is not rewarding, really. There are a few things that are interesting, but it's not. The Majora's Masky bits aren't good enough at being Majora's Masky bits.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
It's much better at being a Final Fantasy game than it is at being Majora's Mask.
This is a pedigreed parader, boy.
Yeah. Here's how little I did not engage with the New Game Plus stuff at fucking all, to the point where I have none of the trophies that you get when you unlock the New Game Plus upgrading stuff by getting duplicates of it in the world.
Yeah.
I have none of those. Or the crafting, which I also didn't do.
That does it.
Does going into a New Game Plus affect the strength of enemies?
I think yes.
I think so.
So, because I think
maybe a little Dark Soulsy.
But does it work if you're going in a New Game Plus from an unfinished game?
There's a threshold of time pass where if you loop, if you run out of time, it'll count you as New Game Plus.
Probably why I might have struggled.
Yeah, because if you get past day 7, I think,
there's a threshold at day 7 and then one at day 10, I think, where just everything gets harder.
And also past day 7, if you run out of time because you haven't earned enough time, it'll loop you back to New Game Plus at day 1, and everything will be slightly harder. The entire game's a mess.
Yes.
Okay, well.
That's the one that Tri-Ace had less involvement with.
They aren't responsible for every ill of the Japanese games industry.
Just most of them.
I mean, level 5 are also out there.
Yes.
Yeah, level 5 at least made some Dragon Quest games.
It's true.
Small benefits.
But the good thing with Dragon Quest is they have oversight.
Yeah.
And
mean,
the thing about
we did pretty unanimously on DGC decide that we preferred Tri-Ace to level 5. Dragon Quest games notwithstanding. You abstained.
That's a pretty bold statement. Pretty bold statement coming from the Tri-Ace defender, Miss Exist Archive.
We will have order.
I think this might be a revision.
I mean, Leroy and I voted for Tri-Ace, and you abstained.
Because I had a moral duty to.
We had just finished Rogue Galaxy at that point, which is like a level 5 low point. So,
God,
that fucking game. Hey, you're grieving. Slap.
You look upon the Empire.
Fuck.
I'm still pissed off about that.
There was little point in asking.
Oh my god.
I'm pissed off about
forgot
this. I can't. I just that is a particular point of sensitivity to me. It pisses me off the similar moment in FF15 as well.
Yeah.
Let people be sad.
His people strove to bring you peace. His was a rule worthy of your devotion.
Keep talking. This is Vane's speech. You have to drown him out. Boo.
Remains
Boo.
protecting you.
I'm like, I don't know, like the thing about level 5 is I keep end up playing their games. Like, I played Ni no Kuni too. It's an improvement. That's probably the best thing I can say about it.
Low bar.
Yeah. At least you can tell when characters are running out of MP.
Oh God! Why is that game so bad?
Something they did not fix for the newer versions.
God.
It's still amazing how bad the transition from DS game to PS3 game was for Ni no Kuni 1.
I still really want to play the DS game. The DS game looked interesting.
I think it's done.
Yes, there's a fan translation out there.
Dang.
The thing about like Ni no Kuni is that baffles me is like that game has like a strong reputation. People love that game.
Yeah. Apparently, when we were looking, the fan translation just like super done. It was done on December 9th, 2018.
Oh wow!
And it's just been so long since we thought about it.
But the thing with the fan translation is it's one of those like, oh no, I can't use the official names. I have to use my own. Well, it's like a lot of them are just like, I'm not going to translate this Japanese name.
Take this cathedral, for instance.
Where it's like, oh, there should clearly be like an English word, but I'm going to leave it as Japanese because I think it sounds cooler.
I hope Lord Gramus might one day look upon it himself.
Which for a game like Ni no Kuni doesn't really make as much sense. At least to me, anyway.
It is truly a profound honor to make the acquaintance of our future Emperor Highness. The people
Ni no Kuni, the Jet Black Mage? What are you fucking on about?
What?
Is that what they translate to?
That's what is in the fucking album of
I meant no disrespect.
The Dark Djinn is apparently okay. Whatever.
Alright.
The Jet Black Mage. Like I get it, but
yeah,
I don't agree.
That would not be right.
You are overly fond of formality.
In
just the remedy for that.
other news, I'm gonna go.
And we shall drink until you call me by name.
Is there any more news on the Trails front? Ooh!
Vaughn, you just do not get it, do you?
Oh!
He's not doing it because he wants
Azure's
to.
release date.
You know what would happen if he did.
Oh, is this
heard
the
of-
fan translation?
Yeah, Trails from Zero is already out and had a second pass. Trails to Azure is coming out on Saturday? What?
Wow.
Holy shit.
Well, now you're gonna have to play them all.
Oh no!
What a lovely bed that someone's just finished making for you to lie in.
Fine.
I want to go for him, but like, I will be the person to want to read everything. So like, I'll be playing them forever.
That's so much text.
That
That's so much.
madness. But on the other hand, you need to respect the amount of work that was put in by not only the original writers but the translators.
Can the translators just give me a .txt of the entire script?
They could.
They probably could.
As if I'd know.
Or an Excel
Why not ask
spreadsheet.
Magello to get you in?
I did play
Yeah.
most of Trails of Cold Steel.
I've wanted to, but then I heard that 4 is just like a big clusterfuck of, hey, you know Crossbell? That game, that duology that hasn't been released in English? Here's a bunch of fan service for that.
I believe it's at the end of 2 that also has a bunch of Crossbell stuff.
Yeah.
Like
4 is like the most of it.
But I only played most of the first game.
Yeah.
Which
an airship.
From what I understand, is pretty much self-contained.
Not through Magello.
Mm-hmm.
Time to pay old Dallin a visit.
Like I didn't feel like I had like I knew what was going on, so I didn't really feel like I needed to have any other Trails experience to just sort of know what I was doing. I believe like everyone says, yeah, from the sequels on, like you need Trails experience. Like it just goes.
I can certainly imagine that.
As someone with Trails in the Sky, SC 3rd, Cold Steel 1, 2, and 3 in my Steam library, I'm prepared to die.
But 4 is supposed to be the epilogue of it all, or like the ending. But also, the thing the weird, I don't know if this is like completely accurate, but I was talking to someone who is like a Trails fan, and like how set up for like certain games is like certain things you'll see as set up for future game stuff is in New Game Plus. Which seems like
that's specifically Cold Steel.
Yeah, specifically Cold Steel, which I'm not playing Cold Steel New Game Plus.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that's more for people who are waiting for the next entry to come out temporarily. So I think it's fine to not catch that if you're playing.
It's hard to know whether it's because there's always the urge to say, like, oh no, you need to see all of this, or it's just like,
those games are a maximalist's nightmare. Like in a way, it feels like kind of maximalism is the. It's easy to look at the amount of text and think, oh, we must be maximalists about that. But I do wonder to what extent that would be like in the designers' heads at all. There's so much text in those fucking games.
I was like, well, yeah, because it's like the idea of it all is it's like any small change, everyone has a reaction to it.
It's a maximalist approach to the stuff that started in like Dragon Quest 4 and 5, where whenever a plot beat progressed, every NPC in like the relevant town had something new to say. Except there's a lot of NPCs and they all have a lot to say, and it updates very often because they can.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's I think I ended up with like 77-ish hours on like Trails of Cold Steel.
Yeah.
And I didn't even finish it. I was like a few chapters away from the end of that game.
Yeah, my playtime on Trails in the Sky in second chapter, it's like 35 hours on first chapter and like 50 on second chapter. But I know that a lot of people were like, oh, I took 50 on first chapter and 80 on second chapter. And it's just like, I think I just read pretty fast.
I think I've definitely gotten to be a fast reader.
Yeah, the thing is with Cold Steel, though, with more voice lines comes more reason for me not to skip through everything, which is...
I'll probably still skip a bunch of them.
Yeah, but like, I'll if it has an autoplay, I will let games run cutscenes, like with voice. So
I have like the initial bit at the start where I'm like, yeah, I'll let these like lines play out, and like probably about 10 hours in, I'll just be like, yeah, skip through. I'm ready to beat that.
Yeah.
I suppose it's like I did Muv-Luv Alternative in under 30 hours.
Yeah.
Which people say that's supposed to be like a 50.
Yeah, I put in 26.8, thanks Steam.
Yes, that's faster than me. I was 29.
Yeah, and I also went back for all the alternative farewells.
I just played it the once, and then when it was over, I'm done with it. I'm done with Muv-Luv.
Muv-Luv is not done. Alternative anime coming this year? ?
I don't want to see all that again.
I know.
It's terrifying.
Yup.
Like,
oh god, yeah, it is airing in October. Christ.
Jesus, they're only doing alternative.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, sure, that's the famous one, and like that's like the one that's like, yeah, the big influence on everything else now. But like, it doesn't hit the same without seeing like everything before it.
Yeah, like the whole point of alternative is that it's like stage 3 of the Takeru trauma.
Oh, that's when the trauma happens.
Yeah. That's when the memes about PTSD get too real. God.
Yes. And it's not like, oh, this like a horrible thing. Like it's a horrible thing happens, and then it just gets like piled on with even more.
Yeah.
It's a miserable experience.
Absolutely.
See, Muv-Luv is interesting to me, right? Because it feels like it's kind of a bit like the big, like, sprawling Japanese media properties that I know nothing about, like Fate and stuff. Except that instead of being completely sprawling and unintelligible, there's just like one thing that nobody who has played that game will talk about, which is like the trauma. It's just like, it's a really thing, and you don't want to the thing.
You don't. You just don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really don't. Like, I say the PTSD is a meme, but like, I'm not joking. Like, that's the common bonding experience of people reading Muv-Luv Alternative is, fuck, I don't want to think about that.
Yes, because as you see in Muv-Luv Alternative, thinking about it causes problems.
Yup.
Oh boy.
I really, like, the fact that, like, it's a mechanic of the universe that that Takeru not being able to deal with his trauma is causing more trauma is just like, someone's writing about fucking some real dark shit that they have probably needed to deal with.
The first part of this game is just a romantic comedy high school dating sim.
Yeah, and then the second part is an isekai, but it's not like picked up the fucking crazy bullshit, and then the grimdark shit sets in part 3.
Yeah, it's literally like, I don't know, like the second part of what's it called again? I always forget the names for them. Extra's the first one, right?
Yeah, Extra and then Unlimited.
Yes, Unlimited is really interesting in how it takes specific aspects of the character set up in Extra as the romantic comedy thing, and transplants that into the sort of apocalyptic war story, to create interesting tension.
Yeah.
But it's not like, it's still just kind of like a coming of age kind of story in that setting.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alternative is like, well, it's like because like Alternative's the one where it's like, name dropped as like the big influence on Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Even though like Attack on Titan felt like it had much less stakes.
Yeah.
Because characters just come back after supposedly dying in that show.
Yeah.
Or at least it was what it was from the first half of the season I watched, which I stopped because I just found it boring.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is like, it has the Madoka twist of like, whoops, surprise, it's grimdark now. I hope you're ready. Except after, like, instead of after 3 episodes, it's after, like, 25 hours of a rom-com and a random guy thing, and you're just like, oh, you're getting serious now. I don't like this anymore. It's rough.
And the thing with like Madoka is like that is still like Madoka's not like the first of what it's doing.
Well, yeah, obviously. Like there's yeah. It's I would say Muv-Luv is probably also a direct inspiration for Madoka.
Yeah. But I feel like the thing with Madoka is it's kind of playing with a lot of what's already in the magical girl genre, but just like really amplifying it.
Mm-hmm.
Or amplifying certain aspects.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, anime has a long enough history that like people, like a lot of this stuff is kind of comes in cycles and repeats.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this might have been a mistake. This might have been a mistake.
I don't know. I'm too used to having the conversations with some people. Where like they kind of have the assumption of like something comes like from somewhere when it's like a long repeated trope kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's mostly probably because there is like to get into anime there is so much anime now.
Yep.
Like this season of anime fucking overloaded.
Yeah.
Even
did you
just
see
on
my
Isekai.
video? Did you see my video where I just went through next season's anime and just pointed out which shows were isekai? It was like half the season.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's a little concerning.
There's more original shows this season though, which is kind of cool.
Oh, this is gonna be a problem.
I have been watching Odd Taxi, which is
That's one of the ones I went. That's probably cool, but I have no time for it. With all the other stuff I'm watching,
it is pretty cool.
I'm watching a lot of trash.
I mean, speaking of trash, I'm also watching The World Ends With You animation.
Oh
yeah,
boy.
I'm hearing that it might be trying to lead into being what the next game is a sequel to instead of the game.
Oh really?
Game. Yeah, I can't verify that because I haven't played the game or watched the show.
So the way I thought of it is it exists to be a recap. Because it's going to come out. It's coming out. The game is going to come out in time for like this show to finish.
Yeah, I think it's July.
Yeah, it's in July.
Which is right as the summer season starts and the anime would.
And the way the pace of the anime is going, it's like it's clearly like just racing through things to get to that point. It definitely because it's not a good adaptation.
Apparently,
have you played the original Toei-san?
Yes. I played it on the DS.
Yeah.
Which is the version. I prefer to play that version because I don't like how the newer versions of the game change things. Because I have a specific attachment to how the DS version works.
God, I hated how the DS version played.
It's really simple.
I couldn't get on with it at all.
It's a turn-based system. Like it's like people. I think the problem is a lot of people get into the whole think of it as a multitasking system because there's two things going on at once.
I mean, it's also it's the stylus input that I didn't get on with.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
but the way that game should work is you do your combo with Neku, and once you've done that bit there, you then focus on the other character, and then you swap between the two.
I was quite bad at swapping, but also just like the fact that you're doing input with the stylus.
Yeah.
And that puts your hand particularly because I played it on 2DS, and the 2DS stylus screen is minuscule.
Yeah, I was playing on a DSi.
That would help a bit. Also, I have big
Yeah.
hands, and they get in the way.
I also have big hands, which is why I have a 2DS XL. Well, I had to replace my 3DS, and the 2DS XL and the 2DS are now the only versions that exist. Well, not anymore, but at the time I was buying, because they stopped producing the 3DSs at a certain point.
I thought one of these chests had Phoenix Downs in it. God damn.
But the
They could, and you would just get the better rolls.
Maybe. I thought there was one that was guaranteed Phoenix Downs. There are a lot more guaranteed chests in this game, in this version.
maybe you should listen for how the disc is spinning. That's how this game works, right?
No, that's how the PS2 versions work.
No, this version they just install the whole thing onto the hard drive and you play it off of that.
It's a different hack that you do to get the meme bow in this. I will not be doing the hack to get the meme bow.
That's coward talk.
I
don't know how much time I'm gonna.
Challenge.
I have no idea how much time I'm gonna spend on this one, because like.
You can speed it up substantially by getting the meme bow.
Or 6 of them.
I mean, you can do that, yeah, if you really must.
What crazy not? Okay, let me go to the fucking next season's anime and see how many isekai shows there are.
Again.
1, 2. Yeah, I didn't keep count last time. I just went through the list. 1, 2, 3.
Regular
4.
series on Becky's channel. Val counts isekai shows from the current anime season.
Yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5.
Hello.
Hello. 6, 7. 8. 9. 10. 11.
Yeah, I'll probably maybe play this entire game on 4 times speed.
Yep.
I certainly did a lot of speed ups with Tactics. Playing on an emulator. Because I did a lot of grinding in that game.
That game necessitates a lot of grinding.
I wanted the Dark Knight job.
Yeah.
It makes the game a lot easier.
Yeah.
Especially after getting Thunder God Sid.
Wrong sand.
Oh.
I went to the Wester Sand. I want the Ester Sand first.
I do appreciate that Final Fantasy Tactics spends a long time setting up this guy. This guy is a legendary warrior. And he is like... Yeah, he's the legendary warrior and he just kills everything in one hit.
Thunder God Sid in Final Fantasy XIV is a very fun boss fight.
Oh boy. I'm halfway through Tactics Advance at the moment. That game
People say very positive things about it.
Yeah, the balance of it all is a lot better, and the way that game handles job growth is a lot more streamlined and a lot less grindy.
That's good.
So, and it's basically the races. So there's multiple races in that game, and they only know a limited amount of jobs each. but the way to learn a job is you just learn like a couple abilities with certain ones, and it doesn't take very long. So it's just about optimizing the right combinations. And also skill growth, like level growth, depends on what job you've got equipped. So there's still that, which is the same as it is in Tactics. But in Tactics, most of my grinding involved using the level down trap.
Yep.
Oh man. God, that fucking thing.
It was just have everyone. What's the fucking scout move?
The charge or the yell.
The one that's just like increase attack and just gets you experience points.
Yeah.
The better thing about Tactics Advance is everything gets you experience points. As long as you take an action and it doesn't miss, it gets you experience points. So the thing you do is you get your lower leveled characters to use items on your higher leveled characters, because that has the thing where like you'll get more experience points.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's almost Disgaea worthy.
To be fair, that's the literal thing that Disgaea 1 Complete added. They tweaked it so that if you... Because in Disgaea 2 and later, you get experience for healing. But they didn't have that in Disgaea 1 and like the earlier PS2 NES games. So they added it to Disgaea 1 Complete, but because it's Disgaea 1, all the fucking experience shit is off. So if you heal a higher level character, you'll get more experience. Because it's using the experience formula for like killing them, but reduced. Which means I had a level 99 character that was the heal dummy because of the level 99 trick. I wonder if the level 99 trick is going to get any more severe iterations in Disgaea 6.
God, you hope so.
God, well, especially as like the cap of that game is even higher.
Yes.
Staff inflation finally reaches Disgaea.
Yes. Oh yeah, I was talking with Dura in the 14 channel about it, but the Evil East raids in 14 have the final one is Orban Monastery. Except it's not fucking recognizable at all as Orban Monastery from Tactics.
Of course
not.
God.
Because of course not. But the bosses are Mustadio, who is a robot man. Agrius, who is a saint, of course, and has a bunch of swords to do stuff with. And then there's Thunder God Sid, who is a man with 3 very large swords and a tail that holds one of them. And then the final boss of the entire raid series, the Alliance raid series, is Ultima.
God.
Specifically Altima, the Seraph. And yeah. That it's a shame that all the people you run that fucking that raid with are always so stupid, because that's we got some of the most fun fights in it, but someone always fucks it up. But yeah, it's a neat collection of fights with, for some reason they decided that Mustadio needed to be a sniper robot man. Some liberal reinterpretations of character traits.
Hmm. God damn it. I need to do another plot thing before I can do the grind.
Yep.
I didn't go visit Old Dallin because I thought I was getting out ahead of the game, but the Nalbina shop doesn't have Phoenix Downs yet. Should check what's in the other Nalbina shops this early. This is what happens when I try to like maintain conversations and also play the game.
Yeah, the screen brain is real.
Mm-hmm. Just completely forget to check in on Dallin. Never mind.
I think while I'm on this stream, I'm going to open Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I forgot what I was doing in the game. Because I've been stuff come up, and I'm also was juggling Saga Frontier.
That's a lot to juggle.
Ish, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's the like longest game ever, but it is.
It's
it has a
more
lot
like
going on, my impression is.
The thing about like Saga Frontier is like it's one of the longer Saga games by virtue of kind of actually being made up of a bunch of smaller ones. Like each character is effectively like its own kind of self-contained RPG in of itself, but they're just all using the same consistent mechanics.
Yeah.
Whereas the thing it's playing with is structural, and some unique characteristics of some main characters. Like the one I chose at the start is a Tokusatsu hero.
Nice.
Who has to maintain a secret identity. So that's mechanically represented is if you have a party of people, you can't transform.
Ah.
But
Can
if
you
they
have
all
a
have the
party
blind
of
status-
non-people?
Yeah, you can have robots, or monsters. But also the other thing is if everyone is inflicted with the blind status effect, you can transform because nobody can see you.
Nice.
But yeah, I think because I ended up playing the Saga Gacha game for a bit.
Wow.
Because I was just like,
because Saga wasn't a chaotic enough bucket of ideas as it was.
because like I was bored and then just installed it and I was like, I'll see what it's about, and then like I got Saga Frontier and then I started playing that, and as soon as I started playing that, all desire or like interest in the like gacha game just evaporated. Just like immediately uninstalled it.
Yeah, that's about what I hit with Disgaea. The Disgaea RPG mobile game came out, and I was just like, I'll toy around with this, and I was just like, I just remembered Disgaea actually exists. I should go play that, and I did.
Yeah. It's not like it's not a game famous for its procedurally generated endless modes or anything.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I don't mean to harp on like the thing on gachas, but at least with like Romancing Saga Reuniverse, is like.
I mean, you can hop on all that nonsense with the gachas. I'm not super fond of them. I'm not playing Grand Blue anymore, which was the biggest time sink I had.
I'm still playing Arknights, but I don't necessarily. Holy shit! I stole a broadsword from a Cactuar. We are video games now, ladies and gentlemen.
But like, I didn't feel like I was playing like a game. I felt like not that I mean like, but like I don't want to say it's not a game, but like I'm trying to
It didn't
figure out
hit
the
this,
right way.
scratch the same itch.
Yeah.
It was I was just idly doing something with my fingers while also at times rolling a slot machine for pictures of Saga characters I don't really know about.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll say this for Arknights, gacha though it may be, there is a damn video game in there.
Oh yeah.
Same with Green Blue, but the video game is also.
It's just like the way, just the flow of like how combat was in the Saga game was just like, well, if my stats are good, then I'll win. If they're not, I'll lose. So if they're not good, I'll just repeat a bunch of older fights, or just spend a bunch of the 50 billion different types of items you get, because it's a gacha game.
Yep.
And I can't. I mean, like, I don't know. I have mostly a strong resistance to the idea of getting into gacha games, just for the virtue of like, I know I will be very tempted to spend money. Personally,
They do get you.
I spent money on games I've paid for. So
Yeah. I mean, I spent
I do
200-300 quid on Arknights over a year and a quarter.
Well, I spent a fair amount of money on Overwatch. I do not want to know how much I spent.
I feel my conscience is cleaner than that. I feel my conscience.
Exactly. Overwatch is a game I bought. And I continue to spend more money. And that game kind of turned into something I don't like, so I'm annoyed.
Yeah.
I spent all that money.
Yeah, well, my problem with Overwatch is that I've never had a significant amount of energy to play FPSs, and it's especially bad if it... Like, I think Campster said it, but like, Overwatch is a game you play with a group of people you already know. And like, TF2 was more my speed, and it was a place you could, back in the day of fucking 2012, 2013, you could meet people there and find a community. And I just don't have the energy to find a group of people and then go play the game.
Yeah.
It took a year of off and on playing for me to hit the point where I was allowed to get into competitive, and I just didn't want to.
I was in the very first semi-public beta for Overwatch. I played 2 practice games and thought, this is not for me.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have thought about playing it at all if I hadn't been on a big Halo kick, and therefore vaguely enamored of the idea of shooters, but like, that is... Overwatch is the opposite end of shooters from Halo.
Yes. Because the thing is, I got really into it, but the thing about Overwatch is like the way that game kept adding in more structure and changing what it was kind of made it a lot harder for me to get into it. Because like, I liked the really ridiculous, like, I liked how in like early Overwatch you could just go up to an entire team of Mercies. It wasn't practical, but it was fun. And then they changed it so you can only have one of every hero, which, fine, I get how that works. All the good heroes are taken at the start of the match. But at least you get a team out of it. And now they've changed so you have to queue as a particular type of role. Which I don't like.
It sounds extremely limited. Like,
yeah.
that is the...
I mean,
their design philosophy in a nutshell.
The pitch for that game was like about like, oh, you pick a hero, and then later, oh, like you might have to pick another hero to sort, like to depending on the situation. But it never played out like that.
Yes.
Is the thing as well. I mean, it played out like around the start because it's like kind of like. But the thing is like there's the super meter, which like resets if you change character.
Yeah.
So that kind of rendered it, and I guess why you did that. Because you don't want to like, because certain heroes have a different rate of acceleration for the super meter. But I don't know, it just got boring, and I haven't played it.
Yeah.
In like over a year, probably longer at this point.
This is the second extensive discussion of a Blizzard game we've had this stream.
Yeah.
I don't know, if I was going to play any Blizzard game again, it'd be StarCraft, because I nearly finished Brood War in my effort to play through all the single player. I was on like the second to last level of Brood War. But
The only single player on RTS I've finished is Halo Wars.
Really? I kind of want to try Halo Wars, I'm not going to lie.
I've heard it's good, but like...
My suggestion is that game has co-op, but that doesn't mean you should play it.
Duly noted. I've had a bunch of recommendations for strategy games recently, actually. There's like somebody who's promoting something that looks like it's a kind of Total Annihilation / Supreme, like a homage to that tradition, which I'd be up for that.
The thing, so when I was going to the Boys and Girls Club, the youth club in my town, like more regularly, there were like one of the main things that the computer room had was a bunch of LAN parties, and we did like a bunch of Warcraft 2. But I haven't touched any strategy game since then, when I was, 7. So like I haven't, and I've tried, like, the thing is, like, I wanted to try some of the like Paradox stuff, which I know is a different like vein of stuff entirely, but like,
yes,
I just don't have like a lot of Paradox stuff and a lot of RTS stuff. Just assume some familiarity with it that I've lost over the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
And I really need a boot camp, because I think I would enjoy it. But
Crusader Kings 3 is a lot better at onboarding. Like it's a lot easier to just get into that game.
Oh, that was in the India COVID relief bundle, I think. So I think I've got it.
Is it in the bundle?
The India
third one.
The Humble thing from a couple of weeks ago. I think it was CK3.
I'll go check, because I think it's probably still intact. It hasn't been a couple weeks. Has it? Fuck
it
me.
Might
I don't
just
know
have been a
anything.
couple of weeks. I bought it on like the second day. And then didn't
I
get to play
can't tell the passage of time. Bundles.
But yeah,
What?
Crusader Kings 3 is like...
Wise I may not be, but well informed I am.
They'll get what's coming to them someday. Believe
would
me.
recommend that one as like a starter one, because that's the one because I've tried with other games and kind of like fallen off, but Crusader Kings 3 I got into, and like it does like put forward like yeah, things are gonna fuck up, and that's the point.
Yeah.
That is also my problem with I prefer games that like offer the possibility of a perfect solution.
The Empire protects all that has, and that means
Yeah, I'm sort of on the verge of bouncing off into the breach because I'm too paranoid about taking damage.
The more you play it, it get better.
Yeah.
Like just just like treat each run as a kind of practice run as you go through it.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it, there
are you
was
playing
a
on
rumor.
normal?
Yes, a secret passageway into the
That game
palace
is
walls,
a lot easier on the easy mode.
and a magic
Duly
stone
noted.
that opens the way.
Like that's how I actually finished.
This is exactly why I
Because I
came to
had
talk to you first.
two.
So
What was it?
where's this magic
Monday or
stone?
Tuesday I had a stream, and
I've had it for years.
didn't
if I
have
could remember
like
where I've tucked it away.
just had some really grinding losses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have some strategy games in my Steam library, and like I had interest in like fucking around with some of them, but it's just like Stellaris is cool as hell. I own it. I've played 2.1 hours of it, and I understood basically like 30% of what was going on at any given time, and I fucking died so fast. But like, yeah, no, like, I like watching other people play the game so I can get the highlights without having to do all the micromanagement shit.
I remember when I was like a little kid, I used to just steal my dad's Command and Conquer games to put on my PC. And like, and my PC was just a hand me down from him. But like, it was like I used to just like I was gonna keep building stuff because this game you build stuff in the game, right? And I just kept building new buildings and stuff, and I just used to always get really annoyed when all the enemies would come in and destroy them.
That was how I got through most of StarCraft. Was just like, what's the point defense system for this race? I will build that all over the map. I have some from when I was doing the Zerg campaign. I have some hilarious maps that's just everything is green dot for a structure I've built because all I did was just colonize the entire map.
That's, I mean,
it works. It's a slow strategy, but it works.
That's kind of how like I finished Halo Wars. I'm just gonna build a load of this particular kind of thing, and just throw them all.
Yeah.
But yeah,
here's a weird thing that I don't know that a lot of people have ever heard of. I had discovered like a 2-pack of games in a fucking bargain bin at a computer store near me. I don't know when I found it, but by God, I found this game called Rage of Mages.
Which is...
I think I've heard of that. It's a good title.
Yeah, it is. The second one is called Rage of Mages 2, Necromancer. So basically it's an RPG, but it's controlled like you're playing a hero unit from Warcraft 2.
Ah.
And you like venture around maps and shit and do quests and also visit towns and buy equipment.
There was one game like that. Like I remember, it was like a real-time strategy game, but like you get the hero unit, and the hero unit would just play like an action game. Like the camera just would move from the top down to behind the guy's like head, and you'd be playing as them.
Huh.
And I can't remember what it was.
Anyway, yes, this is a Russian game. Built by Nipple Interactive. What did you make? Rage of Mages, Aetherlords, Blitzkrieg, Heroes of Might and Magic 5. Oh baby.
Oh man. Pedigree.
Do they still make the Might and Magic stuff?
I was literally just thinking about, like, I would love it if we had a new, like, Might and Magic turn-based strategy game.
Could ask you the same.
Something in that vein.
Though the answer is pretty clear.
King's Bounty 2 is an upcoming turn-based tactical role-playing game developed by 1C Entertainment and published by Deep Silver that will be released for Nintendo Switch, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on August 24th, 2021.
Oh, don't worry. Miguelo's
It is a direct sequel to the first King's Bounty game, which is from the Heroes of Might and Magic series of games.
Let's get going.
Wow.
Oh, it's...
That answers that question.
Yes.
Send me a link to that one.
I will do that.
I think I have a King's Bounty game from some bundle at some point.
This came up because, oh my god, King's Bounty Legions. It's turn-based strategy. Oh my god, it's made by these people. Okay.
The only... Because I don't know anything about Might and Magic, except the only one I've actually played is Clash of Heroes.
Which one was that?
Oh man.
That's the like the puzzle game for the DS.
Ah.
Okay, King's Bounty 2. Where's your official website?
Which
Oh,
I think they made an HD port eventually, which I did, which is the one I played. But it's made by Capybara Games. Who I guess they've
oh my
always-
god, the about page on this fucking site. Oh my god. Here are the promotional blurbs they're trying to sell you on King's Bounty 2 with.
Oh boy.
Fantasy and realism. Experience a vast fantasy world that expertly blends beloved genre tropes with gritty realism to ensure players remain grounded in this desperate realm-wide struggle. Unpredictable and non-linear story. Told through the lens of a highly cinematic experience, King's Bounty 2 puts choice in players' hands rather than their mouths. But instead of hinging on simple dialogue choices, it is the player's actions that hold the true weight. Unique characters. King's Bounty 2 gives players 3 characters to choose from, each with their own unique story. System of ideals. As players explore their realm, their stories change as they align themselves with different ideals. Strength, art, order, and anarchy.
That's a hell of an alignment compass. What the fuck?
The 4 SMT genders.
Oh yeah, that port is out soon.
Yep.
Oh, fuck. Where's my controller? I've got too many controllers.
But yeah, Rage of Mages and Rage of Mages 2 Necromancer are available on GOG.com.
Fun.
No, that's the wrong... Wow, for fuck's... Why is my Guitar Hero controller over there?
Sorry, I'm now picturing that you were searching for a controller. And somehow you managed to mistake your Guitar Hero controller for just a regular gamepad.
That's exactly... Not but I mean, I mistook the wire for that.
I mean, that makes
But,
sense,
like-
and I did get to that idea eventually, but...
I'm not just like... plugging in... I'm not picking up a Guitar Hero controller and being like, where's the analog stick?
Oh
I saw an
god.
actual joystick in the wild the other day.
Wow.
Oh god, those became hard to find.
Now
I mean,
I'm
I-
really feeling like it's 2001.
I mean, it was apparently like a 2015 vintage joystick. They do still exist, but...
Yeah, well, it's... I mean, they do still make them for, like, flight sims stuff.
Yeah.
But they
All those
became...
flight sims coming out.
Yeah, well, Microsoft Flight Sim came out, and, like, because of that game coming out, especially at the time of, like, around the start of the pandemic, it was, like, hard to find one.
Yeah.
Which is... I actually do want a flight stick, because there are some games I'd like to play with a flight stick.
Also, flight sim nerds have historically been prepared to shell out enormous amounts of money to, like, keep that genre alive. And they just don't spill over into mainstream game spaces anymore the way they, like, did for a little while.
Yes. I used to live with a guy who was like really into flight sims, and like the flight sim scene is you are spending like a full retail game price for something that simulates one plane.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Between that and like the train simulators,
yeah,
sim people are weird.
Yeah. And driving simulators.
Yeah.
Yeah, got iRacing and all that, which has a really, really particular kind of etiquette. There's some really like fascinating like pieces on Vice about like the switch over to virtual racing.
Yeah. And the Formula 1 esports stuff from last year, where people realized they could just grief, like professional sports people reinvented griefing.
Yeah.
And there was a huge scandal about it because, of course, there's a large amount of money on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fascinating.
It was. I mean, I don't even follow that scene. It was just like incredible to read about.
Yeah, I don't follow it except for like my interest in actual motorsports.
Yeah.
And yeah, God. Because the story I remember reading, I'm pretty sure was they had a competition where they had like the best esports drivers and a bunch of Formula 1 drivers as well competing, and one of the Formula 1 drivers realized he could gain his team an advantage by griefing one of the esports players.
Yeah.
How are we going to do on the Sunstones? 27. That's maybe okay.
I really wish, I understand why they're not, but I really wish the Steam tags had more fucking uniformity in their application. Because, God, I wish I could have a single tag to go, okay, I want to look for all the things that are like Civ 5 and Paradox games, and there is no tag that encompasses all of that. Ugh. Because strategy involves things like, oh yeah, the Bureau, XCOM Declassified, the fucking third-person shooter, or 100% Orange Juice, or Hex Cells, or Omega Quintet. That's not strategy.
Can I take out this Slavin with 2 characters? Probably. If it doesn't just stomp me.
The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky, but no other Legend of Heroes game. Sure. There are 5 other ones,
remember
6 other ones, but...
someone trying to describe, like... I was talking to someone about that game. It's like, oh, the combat's like the Sky, right? Because it was just the grid-based system. And I'm like... To some extent, like, you are not wrong, but also you are wrong.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the vibe, as they say.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, it's like, the nice thing about Steam is that like, their algorithm isn't strong enough to like be too precise over the games it advertises to me.
I don't think I've ever taken a game from a Steam recommendation. I just follow people on Twitter, and when they recommend something, it's like, oh, maybe this will suit me.
God, of course now I'm thinking about fucking Paradox. It's a Paradox weekend.
I mean, my impression is that there are a lot of those. No, don't kill the rabbit. Don't need to kill
Not really. Like, they are they're having a Paradox convention. So,
in quotes, because
always in quotes, this, I say this year, but like, this period of time.
This March.
This era. This inexorable march.
My first vax shot on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yay.
63%. Oh, it's only 4 stone, this. God damn.
Woof.
Run's over. I'll start again tomorrow. I think in a speedrun you'd be, where are we? About 2 hours in. In a speedrun, where would we be up to? 2 hours.
I would.
An order of
like to
magnitude
know.
further in the story. Because you would be skipping the cutscenes.
Skipping all the cutscenes and also using 4 times fast forward, which I haven't been.
Yeah. God.
I keep looking at the live delivery, and it's futzing about in a local suburban sprawl fucking neighborhood, and it just reminds me that fucking location names are fake and fantasy and nonsense. Because I was reminded yet again that there's a town near here named Ferndale, and also there's a town in Final Fantasy XIV that one of the side characters comes from named Ferndale, and also a fantasy podcast about fucking mice has a town named Ferndale, and I'm just like, I
thing is,
yeah.
Becky and I live in the UK, which is where all those fake fantasy names come from.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, UK place names are like. I used to get salty about Americans taking the piss out of UK place names, but they really are something else.
Like I said, yes.
I
literally live.
I live near the parts of the southwest where they gave up. They just go, oh, I call this place, I don't know, Bath.
Street.
What about this one? I don't know, Box.
How far are you from Torpenhow Hill?
Trepenna Hill.
No, Torpenhow Hill, which is literally hill.
Yeah, it's pronounced Trepenna.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
I watched the Tom Scott video.
But yeah, no, I'm just looking at all these street names as well. Bayshore Drive. Yep.
That's the thing. Like everywhere in America just sounds like it was procedurally generated for a video game.
Yeah.
Let's put 2 landscape nouns together and a road type after it.
Yeah. These lanes are all named after trees. These streets are all named after trees.
Mm-hmm.
This street is named Deer Trail.
There's an area in my town where all of the street names are named after authors.
Mm-hmm. My
like,
parents live in a weird neighborhood where apparently, like, the town they live in has a bunch of connections to an African liberation movement or something. So there's randomly in the middle of North Manchester a neighborhood where all the streets are named after African revolutionaries.
Oh,
so weird. Just because it's it's a redeveloped area. It was previously an industrial site and stuff. And they're like, we'll name all the streets after.
Okay, so here's I'm looking. So the actual city has like A through H Street, and then they start getting into fucking trees again. But also because we're at the border, there's the Peace Arch at the border, which is like this big fucking garbage monument, whatever. There's also Marine Drive, which is the where the docks be. But from the Peace Arch comes Peace Portal Drive, and then as you go past
Peace Portal Drive, even.
Yes, Peace Portal Drive. And then you go past that, and it becomes Portal Way. It's the way to the portal. The Peace Portal.
Yeah.
And that just goes for, I don't know, 20 miles? It keeps going? Yeah, there's just one street. And then it turns into 2nd Street for some fucking reason. in a city 20 miles south of here.
You ever try and play GeoGuessr?
No.
No.
I have no sense of direction. I'm just amused by
I'm kind of
the
intrigued by
nonsense
it.
around
Maybe I
me.
should try it.
It's good, but the problem is they've made it so that you have to do subscriptions and stuff now to play more than one game. But you can still like play a game.
Yeah. There's a district of the nearby town named Sunnyland. Right next to Eureka.
I mean, the place I live basically kind of like can roughly
In
translate
Happy
to
Valley.
kill.
There's literally just a place called Happy Valley, though, so... I don't know. This is stupid.
I live just down the road from a West Derby for which there is no East Derby. And the nearest actual Derby is about 100 miles due south.
Oh my god, Ted Cruz, please.
Wait, what? That's a non sequitur.
I opened Twitter, and apparently Ted Cruz is complaining that the U.S. Army ad is an exemplary of a woke, emasculated military compared to one featuring the Russian military. My dude.
Oh my god.
Fuck. Like, there's just no joke follow-up to that. What the fuck is your problem, Ted Cruz?
Send that man a gif from the Russian soldiers dancing Twitter account. Oh, where does Penella leave the party? I need to get rid of her. I thought she left the party in the village. Do I have to go actually back to Dallin?
I think you have to go as if you're going to Dallin. Huh?
I love these doors in Rabanastre that make no sense at all.
Oh, yeah, the giant vault door.
Yeah.
You poke it once and it ascends.
The thing that always gets me in like Lowtown and Rabanastre is like the new version of the music. How like the drums are just so dramatically loud in that version.
I had a really good time.
Like startling.
Well,
Yeah, it's one of the.
getting back to the store.
I don't know. I like it still, but I think it's one of the redos that suffers most from the original.
And Vaughn, try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah,
For me,
I'm
don't know what I'd
like
do if you
personally
weren't
more
here.
positive
If something
on
happened to you.
most of the redone soundtrack,
I'm not
but I do
going
feel that
anywhere,
like
okay?
they
That's
both
what I
have their
wanted to
strengths and
hear.
weaknesses.
Yeah,
See you
definitely.
later.
This one, like, Lowtown particularly loses. Like, the original has a lot of drive, and it.
Sorry,
the
Penelope.
orchestration kind of softens everything off of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, God, it's not as bad as like the redone soundtrack for 10, but
I
there's,
never
like,
actually heard
some...
that.
There are some like ones where like, because the thing about 10 is it really feels like the music is like composed specifically for like the sound fonts and like samples it's using, because it feels like there's some really strange dissonance in some tracks that result from using other kinds of sounds. And it's just like they overdo things a lot. Like stuff that sounded fairly simple is now a lot more complicated. Like the Thunder Plains track is just completely different.
Really? Anyway.
Yeah.
that's been a couple of hours. It's been good fun. I think I'm going to call it there.
Alright.
We just got to the point where I would be going into the desert to repeatedly murder the same ghost. So I might do some of that on stream, or I might do it off stream between now and whenever I stream next. We'll see.
Alright.
Depends how it takes me. But thanks.
Pray my computer gets here before I pass out.
Yeah, good luck.
Hey.
Thanks very much for the company, everyone. And
Thank you.
See you
Likewise.
all anon.
See you soon.
Good night.